A good Thursday, everybody. I'm meteorologist Ben Dery. Thanks for checking us out on our streaming app. Now, we are expecting some isolated strong to severe thunderstorms to roll through the area later on this evening. So through the midday lunchtime hour, we are seeing a couple of scattered showers, a couple of non-severe rumbles of thunder through the central part of the state. But the main event arrives later this evening, which will kind of end up being underwhelming, we think. The window is between 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock this evening when the main frontal system works its through central Minnesota. Large hail is the main impact, but we could see some locally strong wind gusts as well. And the reason it might be underwhelming is because we don't expect widespread severe weather. It's a couple of thunderstorms and some isolated strong to severe storms are forecast. So again, evening thunderstorms, and at least through the lunchtime hour, we are seeing some very beneficial rain moving through the center part of the state. Kind of isolated, but this cluster of storms that we're seeing early this afternoon is falling right where we need it. Some of these areas are under severe drought, expanding drought, as we are haven't seen a whole lot of widespread rain so far this month. So any rain that we do see is very much needed. Light scattered activity around the Twin Cities with the heavier showers up north up I-35. Once you get to the Hinckley area, that's kind of where most of those showers are moving through. The main frontal system is still hanging out in northwestern Minnesota and out over South Dakota. It's along that frontal boundary where we do expect to see a narrow corridor of heavier showers and thunderstorms. And again, some isolated severe weather is possible as well. That's why we have our weather impact alert in effect. This is a closer look at what we expect. Showers, more the on again, off again variety here on the Twin Cities through lunchtime. Our severe weather threat as a whole stretches between 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock, with those storms beginning to bubble up around 5 o'clock. Here in the Twin Cities, we might have to wait until after 6 or 7 o'clock this evening for that main wave to get here. Once we get closer to sundown, which is around 8:30 nowadays, 8:20, something like that, we lose the energy from the sun and any severe storm should be allowed to collapse. Main headlines, some hail and some locally gusty winds are possible. An isolated tornado can't be ruled out, but it looks like hail is going to be the main threat. This is the area that we are focusing in on. This is from the Storm Prediction Center. The yellow shaded area is a slight risk for severe weather. And again, this is that northeast to southwest oriented cold front that's going to work its way through the region. The beginning of this green shaded area appears where storms are forecast to initiate late afternoon, early evening, and then that main line will slowly work its way south and eastward with time. And again, around the Twin Cities, our window is, I'd say, after 6 o'clock, maybe even after 7 o'clock, where we could see some of those isolated severe storms. Here's a closer look at our severe weather threat. The threat for tornadoes is low, but not zero. The hail threat is elevated, especially for that yellow shaded area, and the wind threat is fairly low as well. These storms are going to be more or less elevated, so that means lesser risk at seeing tornadoes, but hail is certainly a possibility. Here's a wind speed map. Now, we talked about this yesterday, how we had this surface high pressure system on top of us that allowed us to see relatively light winds. Well, now that high pressure system is now off to our east, we're seeing what's called return flow, southerly wind out ahead of that cold front. And you can actually make out where that cold front is based off of the wind shift right here. There's the cold front that's moving into past the Fargo-Moorhead area and moving closer to Alexandria right now. And we're also seeing with that return flow a boost in our humidity. Remember yesterday how dry it was. We had dew points in the lower 40s for the first time in about 2 months. So it was a dry day yesterday, but we are seeing the higher dew points starting to increase as that southerly wind helps to pull up those the higher levels of moisture. Dew points in the mid to even upper 60s, even Ortonville with a 70-degree dew point. That's pretty muggy, and that's fuel for the potential for thunderstorms. However, the one thing that's kind of limiting the hindrance with our severe weather today is all the cloud cover we're seeing and the rain showers. If it was a clear, blue, sunny day, we would have a higher risk at seeing severe weather just because we would build up more of an unstable environment. These clouds are preventing that from happening. So while we do expect, again, an isolated severe storm or two, it's probably not going to be super widespread. Here's microcast. There's a shower activity we're seeing after lunchtime that gradually pushes deeper into western Wisconsin through the afternoon. This is 5 p.m. Again, this is where the initial thunderstorms will be developing. There's that line that stretches from, say, Ortonville through Alexandria, Brainerd, and the Iron Range. And watch as we head deeper into the evening, that line slowly works its way through the Twin Cities by 7:30 or so. And you can see the sporadic nature of these thunderstorms. Not everybody's going to get wet, but any thunderstorm that we do see develop, some of the overachieving cells could certainly produce some large hail in excess of 1 inch in diameter. By midnight tonight, you can see most of the storm activity pushing away from us, and that will set the stage for a pretty quiet stretch of weather that stretches from Friday through the upcoming weekend. We could certainly use the rainfall. This is the latest drought monitor, which was just released this morning. You can see some pockets of red indicating extreme drought around parts of the Red River Valley as well as northern Wisconsin, and an expansion of the severe drought that pushes deeper into Wisconsin. Parts of the Twin Cities still under that severe drought as well, and that cluster of storms we're seeing that pass through Brainerd moving into the Hinckley area. Very beneficial rain. Some of the driest parts of the state getting a quick, quarter to a half an inch of rain, which is not a drought busting rain, but any little bit helps. Here's your 7-day forecast. Once we get beyond this evening, it is pretty smooth sailing Friday through the upcoming weekend. Pretty decent weekend is taking shape. Looking at low humidity, a little breezy on Saturday, but temperatures topping near 80 degrees with our next chance for a few isolated storms by next Tuesday.